Good morning, everyone. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the pre-market watch list. We got some big movers today. So we got a lot of stocks that are up well over 50%, 100%. USEG running really well right now. So we are going to be covering a lot today. Okay. All right. Sasha's in here. That's good. So some huge movers today. APM, which went gangbusters. Pre-market going from 137 up to 29 and then now back down. This looks like it's probably going to fade the majority of those moves, the majority of that move. So I suspect it's probably going to come back down. I didn't see any positive news catalysts out of it. Maybe I missed that. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing. So nothing crazy would have come up. So APM is probably going to fade it. HUSA, this one looks a little bit stronger. It's holding a little bit more of its games. Houston American Energy Corporation. There's a lot of energy that's moving right now. I know USEG is moving, and that had some very interesting news. Right, update on Permian Basin acreage. It's interesting because oil companies have not really done well. Excuse me, in the energy sector lately. It's been more ESG, energy, sustainability, green tech, has been some of the big movers. But then, now we have these oil things going. So it's kind of interesting. Why are these getting so much attention? So, and then the other thing is USEG did come out with numbers, but the numbers weren't great. So comparison to year on year, it's actually worse. So not sure why things are going gangbusters. The two best so far look like HUSA, which is holding a little bit more of its gains. Sorry about that. Hopefully the T will fix that. And then USEG, which is maintaining its gains and building a nice structure. So let's start off with HUSA or USEG and what I'm seeing here. So first thing I want to do is mark the pre-market highs. Pre-market highs are 22. And then I want to look at it on the weekly. And so here is where the resistance is on the weekly. That's the pre-market highs right now. Here, we're at 17 right now. So this thing was just asleep since June, just absolutely going nowhere. And pre-market volume is pretty strong. 2.6 million, average volume is 217K. So you have a stock that's in play. It's already 10 times its normal average daily volume. So this is clearly a lot of interest in this. The resistance kind of makes sense from a technical standpoint. You have a little bit here. I could easily see this going a little bit higher. Starting to calm down with the T. I apologize for a third thing. So I think you definitely got a little bit more room to run. And who knows, this thing could be one of those gangbusters. Like we had a stock last week, SPI, that went from like 3 to like 40 in a day. So there's certainly potential for that. So I'm just going to mark a few resistance zone that I think it could get stuck on the weekly. So I kind of like have targets ahead of time. I want to do as much thinking now before the market opens. So this way, when the market does open, I'm just prepared. So who knows? We could get a gangbuster move up to 66. In terms of our pre-market now, we're fading a little bit. I think there's a pretty good base between 682 and say 1048. So I'm going to put alerts right around there. And let's see how they match up on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so my alerts are right around the base of this pullback here. This is the pre-market boom, hits the high, pulls back, and then get really strong impulsive buying. We broke above VWAP very impulsively on strong volume, on rising volume. And then we've since pulled back to VWAP and are now up off of it. So there might be a potential play pre-market on a pullback to VWAP. And I like the bottom of where this whole impulsive move started at 903. So I'm going to watch those two. Looks like VWAP's holding for right now. It's actually a nice, it's a really nice increasing volume off the bottom here and to that. Very, very strong. So USEG is going to be on our list. This structure looks really, really constructive so far. We have a range, we have a high, we have a nice volume increasing with it. We have breaking VU up and then pullbacks to VU up, all very constructive price action on this. So this is going to be, I'm going to move this over to the left. This is going to be one of our top pre-market lists. HUSA is kind of acting like APM. It's fading. So it had a big burst, hit the high again, and then it's since fading. So I'm looking at this one here, and it's not like it had a decent increase in volume, but not gangbusters, and it hasn't held VWAP. So I'm looking at this and thinking, this is probably going to fade most of this. Let's mark the pre-market highs real quick. Yeah, pre-market highs. If you look at on the weekly chart, this thing has a history of fading. So did USCG. Boom, boom, boom. These are all weekly candles. So it has the potential for an explosion, but it usually loses a lot of that. So I'm going to be a little more skeptical on this one here. So I'm going to keep it to the right. The tabs I'm most interested in, the stocks I'm most interested in, I move them to the left, and the ones I'm least interested in, I move to the right. APM is kind of doing the same, and there's not really a whole lot going on since. So I'm going to need this to recapture VWAP to feel a little bit better about it. So I'll set an alarm there. Otherwise, I'm just going to expect this to fade. And then, if you went from $2 to 29 and then back, then you're not really interested. It's not the really kind of price action. Nobody's sustaining it. So it's just, probably some like Chinese traders pumped it up and then they're gone. So right now, USEG is the big one. Looking at our stock screener. Hello. MXC was a big one, and SHLL. So let's go back to that. Let's check out MXC, and I'm going to replace APM with MXC. Let's take a look. Hello to Justin. Good to see you. Good morning. Sadhu Mangal. Hey to you. And Chi Chan. Good to see you as well. MXC has got, let's see here, what it came up on the Benzinga. It did. There it is. So it's got 495K. Average volume is not a million. It's halfway at its average volume, which is good, but it's not a whole lot of volume. I generally want to see 600,000 pre-market. So Fitbit is up 4%, USCG, SOGO, MXC, SRNE. Okay, so the big ones here is going to probably be USCG. So MXC, I'm probably going to just pass on this one here. There's a couple I do want to go over. SPCE, I'm long SPC. I'm a long-term bull in this, and I have options on this as well. So we got SPCE. It had, why was it so big yesterday? It went from 16 to 20. That's a 25% gain. The big news was that B of A initiated coverage on it, and they had actually put a buy rating of 35. So with it being at 16, you're talking almost doubling basically from where they're expecting it. And that would put it right around up here, which is near the all-time highs, where it had this big burst before the coronavirus hit and things like that. So I like that target. I think it's actually a good target. It's the first time I actually thought an analyst had a good target. It's very rare that I see that. So I like this 35 target, and I am long SPC. I'm probably going to add on my position. I do have some, not only long on the stock, I also have some long calls. And I have 20 calls that I bought last week, and they were part of an iron condor. The market had just been chopping. So I sold an iron condor. And then as the news came out, it started to gain, I unwound the call that I sold for a minor loss, but I sold some of the calls that I had on it for profit, which covered the loss. And now I still have some of those calls left. So they have intrinsic value on them right now. What I see going on right now is kind of some profit taking. And so we are seeing a little bit of profit taking, and we do have a corrective structure, which looks a little bit better on the 5-minute. So we kind of got this going on right now, right before major resistance. So that's kind of your intraday support about 2021, near around number 20, and high is 2141. So I think once it breaks 2060, I'll probably add on to the position. But I'm going to keep this call as long as this structure holds. I will keep the call I have on it because it's got a fair amount of value in it at this point. So that's what I see in SPC. Pretty good play right now. Just checking in with Wow, going gangbusters, just bouncing off the VWAP continually and then going gangbusters. This thing's gonna be wild today. So I might just take a position pre-market. I don't know if I don't like being this close to the pre-market highs. So maybe I'll put in an alert on a pullback to VWAP. I'd like to see the market open. I generally don't trade a whole lot of pre-market. It can be pretty wild. So I'd like to see the market open, see everything that's stabilized, and then take a play out. Okay, so that's SPC. Tesla down a little bit from pre-market. Tesla's a big mover. The big thing about Tesla right now is you have to watch is the range that we're in on the weekly. So that is not the weekly. This is the weekly. All right, so you really have to be watching this major range on Tesla, which is pretty wide, 329 to 460. If we get a weekly close outside of that to the top side, then it's going to pressure the 500. If we get a weekly close below 329, then you have a base at 283 there. So there could be some really good shorting opportunities. There could be some long opportunities. There's definitely some day trading opportunities inside here, but be picky with this one. Go with, the lower ends of the range and the upper ends of the range if you're going to play it. I think there's a pretty decent buying opportunity around 342 and maybe these little spike lows here, which if you draw the line becomes this resistance here. So let me move that out of the way and put an alert there. So far on the 4 hour, it looks kind of impulsive, breakout building, impulsive, corrective pullback, may come back to here. But overall, it looks constructive for Tesla. dkng, one of my babies, this is one of my long-term stocks, broke out, had a really strong pre-market, and then busted through it. And so this did really, really well. I've been long dkng. Right now, my average price on dkng is about 47. I took some profit yesterday on another one of my positions. So this is the chart that I like right now is the 1 hour. So this was the resistance, two-legged pullback, or, kind of a channel like pullback. And then just pressure, and then boom. So I think there's room for a pullback towards this prior resistance or maybe here. So I like buying between 56 and 54.71. So I'm going to wait for a little bit of pullback. The weekly VWAP is holding right now, but and while it's a small corrective structure here, it's not bad. I'd like to see a pullback in dkng. If it doesn't and it breaks out with good volume and a really good structure, then I'll just add on to my position at 58, 20 or 30 or something like that. But I really like to get a pullback to this swing or this swing here or somewhere where the breakout had built its pressure up here, which is 55.40. So those are my top watch right now. Is HUSA doing? It's trying. No one's doing nothing. QQQ is pretty much right where it was, and ES is down a little bit in the futures. Europe was mostly down, barely up. So you're seeing a little bit of downside pressure in stocks. So I think the big focus now has to be on USEG, SPC, things that have positive news right now. If the markets are going to be down, then you want to look for the stocks that are strongest. Okay, so that is what I have. How we doing? We're 6:12. We got a little bit of time before the market opens. So we can take a look at trades that you're interested in. The rule is if you want to look at a stock or currency pair or anything like that, instrument, you got to give me the instrument symbol, the time frame you want me to do the analysis, one line, description, why you're bullish and bearish and why. And if you have a trade, then give me the trade details, entry, stop loss, take profit. So we can do that now. That's pretty much, is there anything? Just want to make sure I don't have anything else I'm missing. The trends left says valuation, Peloton, Shopify are outrageous. Yeah, they are. Valuation on Tesla is outrageous. Yeah. Valuations kind of just seem to be out the window at this point. There's just no way that you can say some of the valuations on these companies make sense. There's just no way. Fitbit that's an interesting structure. That's an interesting structure. Huh. Okay. So big move, and then it's been consolidating since, wow, November of last year. And even during coronavirus, it just kind of stayed still. So now we're at the top of this range. It is building some pressure. Is there any? Yeah, it's a decent move. It's a decent move. It hasn't built enough pressure, but at least yet. But it's a very strong impulsive move. That's one of the bigger candles. So there might be, if it doesn't break out, then I might look for a potential long at the bottom of the structure, because the structure's been pretty stable. It has not broken since, yeah, November this year. So I might look for a buy between 631 and 592. Target the top, exit out for profit. If I feel like it's going to break, then hold a little bit of the shares for the rest of the move. But I got alerts on the bottom and the top, so that's not bad. Already gone over USEG. Sogu. Nothing crazy. SRNE shares of trading higher to compare preclinical data for STI 1499 STI neutralizing antibodies against SARS. Okay, so preclinical data. So that's it's nothing great. Nokia. Oh my God, remember that stock? Okay, nothing else on the volume. So good day to you, Yanni. Good to see you. Okay, so if you have any instruments, we will take a look at them. Otherwise, we will wrap this up for today. But I'd like to see some more instruments. Okay, getting a little bit of pullback on USEG. If it holds VWAP, then it's probably going to try and press. Where's weekly? Weekly is also right by the daily VWAP. That's a very good. That's a very good sign. That's a pretty good sign. Have a nice confluence there. So if VWAP holds, it might be. Yeah, that's like a strong reversal candle after holding VWAP, impulsive move, holding VWAP, bouncing, breaking out, and then reversing some of that. So volume is fading a little bit. We might get a fade down. If we do, then I'll watch the bottom of here again. So if VWAP fades, then I'll watch the bottom of this. SPC is just holding pattern right now. dkng holding pattern right now. Fitbit is, what's the pre-market volume on Fitbit? 4.7 in average. So it's almost at it's like 80% of average daily volume. Okay, that's not bad. That is not bad. Wow, Citron's coming over the news everywhere. Okay, so any instruments that you want me to check out before we call it a day and get ready for the live session? Before I get ready to train live with the members. Let's see, what did we add yesterday? We did add an option play to our trade signals. We did an iron butterfly on UAL. I want to see how that's doing. UAL. Anything going? Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we want. That is exactly what we want. We want this to go absolutely nowhere. I think there's some really good iron butterflies. There's good iron butterflies and iron condors available on airlines. Also, casino stocks like Las Vegas Sands. Certain real estate has really good setups for iron condors and iron butterflies. So you got like SPG, Simon Property Group, Hughes Company, and then there's another one, Well Tower. All those have some pretty good setups on iron condors and iron butterflies. All the charts look like this. You know, if you look at all the airlines, so look at this chart, you can kind of see in the weekly, it's just going nowhere. DAL, a little bit more bullish pressure. I thought about taking one this, but the bullish pressure skewed the iron condor a little bit to where it wasn't as favorable. AL, same thing, all going nowhere. Even some of the cruise lines are very, very similar. So as long as these stay like this for a few more weeks, which I suspect, you know, there's nothing that's coming out of the election that should alter these too much. There's nothing pre-election, like leading up to the election, should alter that much. I'm expecting these to probably stay unless they get some sort of gangbuster vaccine news. But even then, they've had many different vaccine news that were positive coming out, and the cruise line stocks and the airline stocks have not changed. So they're just continuing under pressure right now. And so because of that, you know, they're not really going anywhere. There's a lot of people that want these to go somewhere, but they're not going anywhere. And if they can't get up off the mat, and they're just going to stay there, well, then you should be taking advantage of that through options. So that's where you want to look for neutral option strategies. Okay. Any last things before? How are we doing? This will give me about 12 minutes to prepare for this here. So not much has changed on Fitbit, and not much has changed on HUSA. So I'm probably just going to take HUSA off the watch list. And yeah, I'm probably just going to take it off. Oh, we do have one. Simos John. Hey, what's going to happen with gold? So Simos, I'm not sure if you're able to relate to this, but the way it works is that you got to give the instrument, time frame, whether you're bullish or bearish, and if you have any trades, you have to give trade details on that. So that's how that works. I don't know what's going to happen with gold. I can do analysis on it, but if you want to, then give me the instrument, give me the time frame, and give me your 1 sentence description whether you're bullish or bearish. I'll get a chart prepared on that. So I'll wait till whatever you come out with the data on that. Justin convincing lots of. Justin, is this your first time here? No, I don't think so. I think you've been here before. That's so weird. The video on Zoom here is like amazingly clear, and on YouTube, it's not as clear. I need to figure that out. Uh-oh, hello. There we go. What happened? Okay. Let's see what volume is on this. Oh, me. So just looking on Thinkorswim, seeing what's going on. Dome is pretty low right now. Time and sales is decent. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. It's not like I would expect these prints to be moving faster, especially for a pullback on VWAP. It probably was. Volume was really strong. How are we on the candle? 621. So it's still starting right now. Okay, we're starting to see how that's moving. It's picking up. So that is orders coming in off the VWAP. So you're seeing a little bit more interest coming in off the VWAP. Yeah, I'll have to check the YouTube settings. Okay, so ROC, hello to you. Been following you, Justin saying been following for a long time. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Who has the problem? You or somebody here? I don't know, John. We'll have to. It's probably a setting in Zoom in terms of latency, and then we have to adjust it within YouTube. Okay, so time and sales see how that's picking up now? See how the pace is better? That's because you're seeing a lot more interest going through the markets now that we are at VWAP. So yeah, time and sales picked up. Before it was like did. But now it's picked up a little bit. Yeah, so there is some interest. It's not gangbusters. You're getting some decent orders, nothing crazy, 1,000 shares here and things like that. Nothing, there's no 5,000, 10,000 shares orders coming through right now. So I'm not seeing a lot of interest on this. Boss House is saying video quality is fine. The video quality, yeah, for me is also fine. Okay, well, that's good to hear. Maybe it's just me then. Maybe it is just me because I have a window open here and I'm looking at the quality. It looks not as crisp as it does here. Yeah, I'm not seeing a gangbuster interest off the VWAP here. So unless I see like some big show orders come through soon, there's a decent block there. It's always good to see a block like that when you see a block of green. So I'll go back real quick. You can see a little bit. You have the red, big block of red, and then you have a decent block of green there. It's nothing crazy. That's probably 3,000 shares. So I'm not saying huge interest come off this VWAP. And if this continues, then it's probably going to break it. You teach tape reading, Chris? Yeah, I have lessons in the pipeline that for my members. Yeah. Yeah. So we have a new flagship course coming out in December this year, Christmas. And in that one, we already have tape reading built into this. So we have tape reading and DOM. I use tape reading and DOM. I don't like L2 by itself. I like the DOM. I like it because it shows like the typical L2. This is your typical L2. I just don't find that too interesting. I don't really care what exchanges it's coming through, but I don't really find that interesting. It's just pretty interesting. With the DOM, it gives me some interesting, more information. So it's much easier for me to see whether, you know, the offers are stepping down or the bids are stepping up. That helps. Where the size is. It also shows me the volume based on the price. And because of that, because it shows me the volume based on the price, I get potential areas of support and resistance or where there's just a lot of institutional interest in that. So yeah, in our flagship course, we're adding lessons on tape reading and things like that. We'll start off with time and sales and then we'll get into DOM stuff. But yeah, I have 10 rules that I look for when I'm doing tape reading. Speed is obviously one of the most important ones because speed of the tape tells you how much, you know, it tells you whether there's an acceleration of interest, a lot of people coming in or not. If it's a slow tape, then there's not a whole lot of interest. If it's a fast tape, then there's a lot of interest. That doesn't mean it's going to break out. Maybe we just had a decent chunk. See, it's a good, there's a few spread in here, but there's a lot of green in that. So yeah. So, you know, there's a few pointers, you know, there's when you see blocks, those are standard pointers. When you see speed increasing or decreasing, those are standard pointers. So we got 8 more tips that we teach people on how to read time and sales. And then we got stuff looking at the DOM, which is its own separate thing because it's more than just speed. You have to look at things. Those are orders that haven't been activated. Time and sales are orders that have been activated. So yes, tape reading is very important. If you're day trading, if you're swing trading and you're holding trades for months, you know, more long-term positions, your tape reading may or may not matter depending upon the structure that you're trading. If you're trading a breakout structure, tape reading is going to matter. If you're not trading a breakout structure, tape reading may or may not matter at that point. So this is trying. It's really trying to hold. It's really trying to hold VWAP and lift, but it's not quite there yet. Okay. How are we doing on time? 6:26. Okay, market's going to open in about 4 minutes, so I want to prepare for that. But you have your list. And Simos John, this might be your first time here, but the way it works, if you want to look at trade setups, is you have to give 3 things. You have to give the instrument, you have to give the time frame you want me to do the analysis, because otherwise I could be doing analysis on a chart, like on a weekly, and you're looking for a day trading, you know, you're looking at the day trading setup that's happening right now. By giving me the time frame, it helps me find exactly the perspective or frame of reference that you're looking at for that particular instrument. And then I can kind of look at it with a similar perspective and time horizon that you are. So instrument, time horizon, and 1 sentence description, bullish or bearish. You do that, and then we can analyze it. Okay, so all right, so that's pretty much it. So again, to recap for the watch list, useg, which we have right now. So I'll pull this off real quick. But useg is hot. I've already given the levels for that one here. SPCE has, it's fading some of this momentum from yesterday, so it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out today. dkng still has momentum from yesterday's breakout, making new all-time highs. So this was the all-time highs, 55.61. Very strong breakout. You can see the breakout structure here. This right here is your breakout structure. Is FIT okay? FIT is going nowhere. So FIT doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of interest on it, but our top for today are going to be USEG, SPCE, and dkng. FIT will be kind of a tertiary. And then I mentioned the potential signals on travel and things like that. USEG is breaking the VWAP. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if it's breaking VWAP now, then I'm probably going to watch for it to come back down here before we can set up potential longs. It still needs to break the weekly VWAP, which is at 1603. So if this hourly candle gets below 1597, then you could see some more unwinding. If this weekly VWAP holds, then it might try another attempt back up. But that's what we need to see right now. So that's pretty much it. So you have a good watch list for today. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I'm going to go be trading live with our members in the stock trading course in about 5 minutes. So good luck trading. I hope you have a good trading session today. Stay positive, stay focused, and I will see you guys this Friday. I will be doing a live session on YouTube. It'll be a live Q&A trading session like that. It'll be much longer than this though. So we'll probably do an hour. I'll probably start at 6:30 Pacific, which is 9:30 Eastern. And so that is literally like right now. And I'll start that on Friday, and we'll do about an hour of a session like this. So I hope to see you then for that, and make sure to check out our videos. Give this thing a thumbs up right here, this little thumb up. If you found this useful, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Lets the YouTube algorithm, hey, you enjoyed this content, and then YouTube helps us out. So we appreciate that. So have a great trading session, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.